In this video, we're going to be demonstrating starting a stop cue. So this is our first time practicing this behavior. And to define it, stop is going to be a cue that means stop moving forward. So I'm starting it by tossing a treat away. I'm going to toss a treat kind of far away. And Puppy's going to go get that treat, because that's what we usually practice, and I'm telling him to find it. And then he's going to turn and start coming back to me, and then I'm going to drop another treat about halfway back to me. And this is to get him to naturally stop on his way back to me. Once he finds that second treat, I'm going to toss out another one farther away. And then repeat this where I'm then going to toss a treat as he gets closer. So after a few repetitions, what we should see is that he starts to slow down as he's coming back. So instead of having that fast, excited return, we should see him turn around and start coming back to us, but in kind of slow motion. And what we want to see is for him to start to really slow down and almost linger over the spot where I've been tossing the second treat. And once I see that he's at that point where he's starting to slow down and linger where he knows I'm going to be tossing a treat, that's when I'm going to start introducing the verbal cue and kind of the hand signal as well. So I'm not very creative. My verbal cue is going to be stop. And my hand signal is going to be holding out my hand as if I'm telling a car to stop or kind of doing a stop sign. So when I'm introducing this, I first want to make sure that we have some good repetition with him getting the first treat tossed out and then slowing down when approaching for the second treat. And once I see that we have some good repetition, I'm going to toss out the first treat. And as he's coming back, as I see him starting to slow to the place where he's going to linger, that's when I'm going to say stop and hold out my hand and then mark and treat where he's standing. This can definitely be made easier by having some bigger treats or some big contrast between the treats and 4. It can also kind of help if where you're tossing the treat, if there's a little bit of a natural divide there. But what's really important is that we're being consistent on where we toss the second treat. So the first treat, we just want to toss it away and far enough away so that we have a good distance midway point. But we want to be as consistent as possible when tossing that second treat. So it can help to kind of put an X, a taped X, or another object on the floor so that you know approximately where you're going to be tossing that second treat to. This is just our first day doing this. We would want to expand this into some different locations just as we build it to fluency. You will see that as we repeat this and I start using that stop, I start seeing him sit or go into a down afterwards. And I'm fine with this because those are both stationary behaviors. So I will still mark and treat, but the sit and the down aren't required. So as long as he stops moving forward, that's what's going to get that mark and treat. And if he does a sit or a down, that's kind of just an added bonus because he's going into a nice stationary behavior. This can definitely take some work to build to fluency, but this is a nice, fun way to start a stop cue.